This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Right now at 6 on Good Morning Indiana.
I want them to know that we were deceived.
Only on RTV6, GM workers expecting to start work today at higher wages were fired before Christmas. They thought the results of the National United Auto Workers strike would improve their future. This morning, the people who feel betrayed.
Hoosier lawmakers returned to work this morning for the 2020 legislative session. We're live with a preview of the bills looking to move forward and how they could impact your family.
A proposed split in the Methodist Church could be felt right here in Indiana. The issue dividing the church and what it could mean for parishioners.
And the weather is perfect to sit next to a warm fireplace. We're working for you with a life-saving warning before you light the logs so you don't waste your money.
And it is 6 a.m. here on Monday, January 6th. Back to work, back to school after those holiday breaks for a number of you. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana.
And we're back. We're back, and the weather's getting back to normal.
It is, and life is getting back to normal. People utilizing that couple of weeks off. We're all finally back here after a bit of a
Did you miss me?
rotation.
Yeah.
Of course, and you missed us while we were gone.
No, we did. I did. It's good to be back with the fam.
And Alyssa Donovan is here with us this morning, you are letting everyone know what it's like outdoors.
Yes, and for the record, Todd's back too, but he's working tonight, so he's
Yeah.
helping out another shift. So I'm here this morning, and I am bringing some okay news. If you're heading to the bus stop this morning, the news that you need to think about is that you need to bundle those kids up. Temperatures starting in the 20s this morning, so a chilly start. We have this northwesterly wind helping really usher in some cooler air to start our work week. Temperatures by the afternoon, though, into the 40s, so just a smidge above average. Still going to feel a little cold out, but we're going to see those winds shift to become more westerly, which means we'll see some warmer air filter in as well. We'll see sunshine to start, a little bit more cloud coverage throughout the day. So clear skies this morning, and then we do have just a small disturbance off to our west. That's what's going to bring us the potential of just a little bit of cloud coverage. We could see maybe a light flurry for areas to the east as that moves through, but most of us are going to see dry conditions with just that small potential of that flurry out there. As we look ahead to the rest of the week, today and tomorrow are going to really be our best days with those temperatures in the 40s with some sunshine. Wednesday, a little bit chillier out there, those temperatures dropping off with some cold air filtering in from the north. And then Thursday is the start of some rainy days on the way. I'll have those details coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Alyssa, thank you so much. Here is a live look right now, your commute through Fishers. Good morning to you. I-69 here in 106th Street. Traffic's moving along just fine. It's really picking up, as you can see, both northbound and southbound. Lots of headlights there on the right side of our screen. Let's plan out your drive, taking a look at your drive times right now on the northwest side. As you're heading southbound on Interstate 65 from the Dogleg to the North Split, it's a quick 17-minute drive, no delays there. Now, new this morning, an Indigo Red Line station taking the brunt of an early morning crash. This was the scene around 3 o'clock this morning at 18th and Meridian Streets. Officers say they aren't sure what led up to this crash. The man behind the wheel was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Alcohol is not believed to be a factor in the crash. We've reached out to Indigo to see if this damage will impact pickup times at this location. We are still waiting on the response.
Some General Motors workers in Marion planned on clocking in today, expecting better pay and benefits.
The United Auto Workers Union put it in writing, and that raised the hopes of nearly 3 dozen people.
So it is no happy new year for those who are beginning 2020 without a job.
Chris McMullen took his 6-year-old son to the picket line in Marion during the strike against General Motors. This moment mattered to their family.
We're out there to try and get everybody an equal opportunity.
In May 2016, Chris got a job at the GM stamping plant as a temporary employee. Temporary employees are GM workers, but don't get all the benefits. The result of last year's strike was in part to help temporary workers gain permanent status. In fact, papers were printed showcasing that beginning January the 6th, all temporary workers with 3 years or more of service would get permanent status in 2020. There was even a chart showing new hourly wages ranging from $21 to $24 an hour.
That was you. You said,
Yeah.
jackpot, I am in.
Right, that's me. Maybe move to a better house, be able to actually save.
Chris was prepared to begin full-time today, but instead, he and other temporary workers were fired before Christmas.
We were assured that, this exact situation wouldn't happen. That there would be no layoff, that would keep us from being hired January 6th. So, why am I, terminated? Not laid off, but terminated.
We met other workers at Crest Lane's bowling alley in Marion. Former boxing coach Michael Wright is still in shock. He joined the plant in March 2016.
We were promised this, and then it was taken away in an instant.
Jessica Smithley traveled to Detroit at the height of the strike. She considered not returning to college once she learned she was eligible to become a permanent employee. She now says she feels betrayed.
I want them to know that we were deceived. They know that we were deceived. They knew that they deceived us. Our hope was taken away.
So as you can imagine, this morning workers are disappointed with the United Auto Workers Union. The paperwork you saw in the story was given to those workers by the union.
So what is GM saying and what is the UAW saying?
So at this point, as of this hour, no response yet from the UAW, despite multiple attempts, as you can imagine. Now, GM wants to set the record straight. And so this morning, they sent me this statement. Allegations that GM is releasing temporary workers to avoid making them full-time, they say is absolutely untrue. No GM employees have told temporary workers that they were guaranteed a job. In fact, the opposite is true in light of the well-publicized ending of the previous generation pickup truck products. We do not know what their UAW representatives told them at the union contract meetings. GM employees do not attend those. In fact, this morning, GM also providing a timeline on this matter impacting workers today. The company says it notified temporary workers that they would be released back on December the 5th. And that's because the plant would be seeing the end of production for certain truck products. GM says it told workers about that 11 months ago. A spokesperson says that information was repeated regularly to its workers. Temporary workers tell me this morning that they were assured by the union that they would start those jobs today. We're waiting to see what the union has to say. Hopefully we'll get an answer today or hopefully by tomorrow.
And we've got much more on this story right now on the RTV6 app.
Time right now, you guys, 6:07, and we are working for you, covering the State House this morning. That's where Hoosier lawmakers will return to work for the start of the 2020 legislative session. There are plenty of potential bills being put forward, and our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live with how some of those bills could have a big impact on your family if they become law. Hey, Kelsey.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, so there's a wide array of bills that are going to be discussed during this legislative session, from legalizing marijuana to cold beer sales at grocery stores and even a school discrimination bill. So members of the state's minority party will try to enact some kind of marijuana-related legislation, either decriminalization or legalization, but it's unlikely to happen with the Republicans in power opposing those changes. And despite the thousands of teachers at the State House in November, legislative leaders are unlikely to make any changes to teacher pay this session. And a new bill filed just last week could have a big impact on many schools. Democratic Senator J.D. Ford filed a bill that he says will prevent schools that discriminate against students, teachers, and staff from receiving taxpayer money. He filed it in response to Roncalli High School, which fired guidance counselor Shelley Fitzgerald after it was discovered she was married to a woman. Ford filed a similar bill last year, but it didn't get a hearing.
Hoping that the relationships that I've built, and this is what this business is based upon, being able to talk with my colleagues in a frank manner, I'm hoping that those conversations will help to lead to possibly, the bill getting a hearing. I do have a pretty...
RTV6 has learned that Roncalli has received nearly $5 million in public money through the state's Choice Scholarship program. Now, this is going to be a relatively short legislative session, as they are not talking about a budget this year, and they expect to be finished in early March. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. New on Good Morning Indiana, the investigation into a deadly shooting on the city's far west side continues this morning. Metro Police say the shooting happened just before 10 Sunday night on Mount Shasta North
North Drive. That's near 10th Street and Raceway Road. Officers on scene tell us the man had a number of gunshot wounds. Metro Police say a number of other people were inside the home when the gunfire started. This morning, officers are still working to learn what led up to that shooting, but they say they do have a person of interest in custody.
Services will be held later today for a Western Indiana police officer who died suddenly last week. Rockville police officer Rodney Smith died unexpectedly Thursday morning. The town's police chief says Officer Smith was battling flu-like respiratory issues. Officer Smith's funeral will be held at 2 o'clock this afternoon at the Gooch Funeral Home. Smith had been on the town's police force since 1998 and served in a number of roles.
Well, flu season is in full swing, and this morning the CDC says that virus has already taken 1,300 lives. Nine of those deaths have been right here in the state of Indiana. The state health department says that that's 2 more deadly cases than previously reported. Across the U.S., it's been a record-breaking deadly flu season for children, but all of the deadly cases in Indiana have involved people 25 and older.
The time now is 6:10, a major potential change for the United Methodist Church that could split the denomination.
A proposal aims to settle decades of debate over what the church calls fundamental differences regarding beliefs on several LGBTQ issues. Under the plan, the church would lift its ban on same-sex weddings and ordination of non-celibate gay clergy. And a new spin-off denomination called Traditionalist Methodist would continue to ban them. One local pastor we spoke with welcomes the changes.
My hope is, of course, that the laws of the church will change in order to allow us to be more supportive of people who wish to get married, more supportive of people who wish to come into leadership of the church.
The General Council is expected to consider the proposal in May. They could choose to amend it or completely throw it out. If the proposal passes, local churches would be able to choose whether they want to stay in the United Methodist Church or join a new denomination.
New this morning, the fate of a Vigo County casino could be decided at a meeting scheduled for next month. The Indiana Gaming Commission plans to meet in Terre Haute on February the 7th. A time for the meeting has not been set yet. A Spectacle Entertainment was the only applicant for that project. If approved, the new casino will wear the Hard Rock branding and employ more than 6,000 people.
Well, lots of you have emailed us wondering why I-65 inside of the 465 loop is so dark. Well, just ahead here at 6:15, we're taking your concerns to INDOT in hopes to make your morning drive a little bit brighter.
Plus, historic wildfires continue to burn across Australia this morning.
New at 6:17, we're working for you with the safe ways you can help those impacted by those fires. Alyssa.
And we've had a few warm days in the past couple weeks, but things are getting back to normal. We're starting chilly this morning. That wind chill making it feel like the teens. We do have a big warm up that comes with a price in the 7-day forecast. I'll have the details coming up.
Welcome back. The time right now is 6:15. Many of you have reached out to RTV6 wanting to know why so many streetlights are out along the interstates, specifically on I-65 inside of the 465 loop. So we took your concerns to the Indiana Department of Transportation. A spokesperson tells us that INDOT checks the lights every month and submits work orders to a contractor. She says she's instructing crews to check out the status of some specific spots we found, like I-65 at the Lafayette Road exit and also down I-465 at the East Street exit.
A facility that takes in dogs that are the hardest to save and find homes for needs your help this morning. The Humane Society for Hamilton County is expected to break ground in March on a new state-of-the-art building, but the organization needs to raise additional funds. It's close to meeting the $12 million goal for construction. Donations are also needed to reach a $2 million operating endowment. The impact of the shelter reaches far beyond Hamilton County.
We've saved thousands and thousands of animals from outside Hamilton County. We are an open admission facility and no-kill for Hamilton County, so our doors are never closed to the county's animals. Right now is the time for everybody to come forward and help however they can. Local businesses, individual donors, sponsor kennels, cages. There's all kinds of ways to help.
So here's the call to action. For more information about donating, you can find a link in this story on the RTV6 app.
Skies turning bright red above parts of southeast Australia as residents continue to seek refuge from deadly bushfires. This morning, 146 fires are burning in New South Wales. At this hour, fire officials say 65 of those are uncontained. Right now, 2 territories are under disaster emergencies, unlocking additional government resources to fight the fires. ABC's Ginger Z is live in Australia, preparing to bring us the latest on the battle to control the fires on Good Morning America. Her reports will start at the top of the hour.
And tragically, at least 24 people have died in those wildfires. This morning, there are several ways you can help victims and firefighters alike. The Red Cross, the Salvation Army, and the St. Vincent de Paul Society all have Australian branches. You can donate through their websites. You can also contribute to sites like World Wildlife Fund. Make sure to triple check the site you're donating to make sure that it's legitimate. The fires out there have killed or injured hundreds of millions of animals.
Yeah, they need a lot of cooler temperatures and a lot of rain. They haven't seen rain in a long time. We're going to see rain later in the week, but for right now, of course, a nice cool morning as kids return to the school bus stop.
That's right. We're going to need to bundle them up as they head out the door. Temperatures right now are in the 20s across the area, 28 degrees in Indianapolis, 29 in Kokomo, 31 in Bloomington. Clear skies right now. I want you to notice, though, those winds out of the northwest right around 15 miles per hour in some areas. And so that's making it feel even chillier than those actual temperatures. Because of those winds, it feels a little bit more like 19 degrees in Indianapolis this morning and the low 20s to the north of us. So it's definitely a day you need to bundle those kids up as they head back to school. Clear skies right now. That's helped bring those temperatures down as well. We haven't had those clouds to insulate us from that cool air coming in from the northwest. Clear skies will stick with us throughout much of the day. By the noon hour, temperatures will hit the upper 30s, and then by the afternoon, we'll see a little bit more cloud coverage move in. That's just with the disturbance that's moving in from our west. Not expecting any precipitation from that. If anything, we might see a light snow flurry as we head into the overnight hours, but for most of us, we won't see anything except for cloud coverage. By tomorrow, we'll see some clearer conditions, a bit of a repeat of today with that sunshine coming in the afternoon. And then by Wednesday, we do have some cooler air moving in. That's going to take our temperatures down quite a bit. Our highs on Wednesday will only be into the mid 30s. So it's going to be a cooler day. Behind that high pressure that's moving in Wednesday, we have 2 low pressure systems coming in. The first one Thursday afternoon and evening. That's going to bring us the potential of some lighter rain showers and the potential of some gusty winds. The second round of rain comes in with another more potent system from the south that's going to bring a lot more moisture. That comes in Friday night and into Saturday, bringing us the potential of some snow to the north and then heavier rain showers across central Indiana. And looking at some of the models right now, some of those models don't go out that far, but the 2 that we do have that go out that far in the forecast show up to about 4 inches of rainfall possible as those systems come in. So just be aware of that. We do have a flooding concern as that second system moves across central Indiana. And of course, as it gets closer to that time, we'll keep you aware of any warnings that come into our forecast. Today, starting in the upper 20s across the area, those northwesterly winds making it feel a little chillier outside. Highs today will be into the low 40s. We'll see those winds shift, so it'll feel a little bit warmer by the afternoon, but not nearly as warm as it has been in the few past couple weeks that we've had. Temperatures throughout the week, though, look at that. Back into the 50s Thursday and Friday, we are into the 60s, staying in the 50s on Saturday, but those 3 days do come with the price of rainfall.
All right, Alyssa, thank you so much. We want to plan out your Monday morning drive and give you an idea of what you can expect as you take to the roads. Here is a look right now from our live drive vehicle, a dash cam view of I-69 here in Fishers. Good morning to you. You can see traffic traveling both northbound and southbound is moving along smoothly and up to speed. We'll keep an eye out for any crashes around the interstates, but right now the metro area is looking good to go.
So are you stressed out by the morning commute? Are you stressed out this morning already, ladies? Any stress?
I'm okay.
All right. So the new year is starting out with some politics and national threats, as well as the individual stress. So health experts are sharing some things that can help you fight that anxiety as well. These are the things that you can do to fight back. Studies show that practicing optimism can have a positive ripple effect on your mental health. Optimists are 35 25% less likely to die of a heart attack or stroke, and more likely to eat healthy and exercise. Volunteering can help release more of the feel-good chemicals in your brain. So go out there and volunteer.
And go hold a cute baby like that lady's got.
All right, well, there's nothing quite like the warm feeling of a fire in the fireplace. New at 6:27, before you turn on your fireplace, we have a warning for you so you don't waste your money.
And cue On the Wings of Love, because tonight, pilot Pete Weber is about to start his journey to romance on the new season of The Bachelor. Before he hands out those roses, you can catch him live on Good Morning America. We'll be right back.
Visit transitionsindy.com.
So at 6:24, what's trending at 6? I always try to win something, like some money at an event. Not so much.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, nothing. But, hey, there's good luck out there. A fan of last night's Lakers-Pistons game has a few extra bucks in his pocket this morning. The magical moment happened during a third-quarter break. A few dribbles and a launch shot. Later, the man watched as the ball splashed through the net. The lucky bucket netted the man $100,000. Coincidentally, the Lakers fan also hit the jackpot shot this time last year.
Gotta make it a little more difficult, I guess.
Wait. 100,000.
Oh,
Swish, baby. Boom, baby.
Easiest way to make money right
Yeah.
there. An Arkansas couple not getting what they expected when they decided to shoplift groceries from a Walmart.
Nope.
Instead of handcuffs, they were given a helping hand. Police body camera video captured the selfless act by an officer. Officer Kenneth Martin said the man was arrested, but he didn't want the kids to go hungry. He was named Employee of the Month for his act of kindness.
Oh, very cool. Well, at first glance, this car may look like a rusted out, tattered piece of junk. But if you're a collector, you know not to judge this car by its rotting outsides. You see it there. It's a 1961 Mercedes 300 SL Roadster. Back in the day, this would cost you about $8,000. Over the weekend, an investor in Switzerland bought this car for $800,000.
Wow.
I know nothing about classic cars, but I bet they'll make it look pretty good.
I can get $800,000 for my Dodge on All-In. If you want my Dodge, call me.
Yeah.
Looks like you got to drive it around a couple more roundabouts first, I'd say, before it starts looking like that. All right, Alyssa, how is the forecast looking for our Monday?
So a chilly start today. Definitely one you need to bundle those kids up as they head out to the bus stop. I know it's the first day back for a lot of kids. So a chilly one for you. Temperatures are in the 20s across the area. Feels more like the teens, though. So as you head out the door, grab your hat and gloves and a heavier jacket. You can grab the sunglasses, too, because we are going to see some sunshine as we head through the day. Temperatures will climb into the low 40s. We're going to start with some sunshine, but we'll end with a little bit more cloud coverage. So you'll really just need those sunglasses for the first half of your Monday.
Alyssa, thank you so much. It is fireplace season when many people turn on their gas fireplaces to stay warm and combat those short winter days. But fire departments warned of a safety risk with some models.
This morning, our John Matarese is working for you, explaining what to check for so you stay safe and you don't waste your money.
Many homes these days have gas fireplaces because they're more convenient and safer than wood burning. But one family wants you to know about a risk with some gas models after they had a major scare. Christy Sullivan says she's lucky to be alive after a carbon monoxide scare.
The carbon monoxide was coming from here.
This fireplace was giving off deadly gas, firefighters tell her, on a night when neighbor Lauren Freeman was dog sitting for her.
6 in the morning, they have an alarm system on their house, and it started going off.
Thinking it was a false alarm, Lauren turned it off. But a few minutes later,
I got a call at 6:30 in the morning from ADT. They wouldn't have called me. Lauren would have gone back to bed, and they said that, you know, within an hour or so, she'd have been dead with all the other dogs.
Christy had called me, and she was saying that there was carbon monoxide in the house and that I needed to get outside.
Everyone got out, and firefighters were able to turn off the gas and air out the house. Christy says she never expected trouble from this gas fireplace since it was only 5 years old and she didn't use it that much. But it turns out these should be checked periodically, just like your furnace. The National Association of Home Inspectors say ventless or vent-free fireplaces should not be used for more than 2 hours, should never be in bedrooms, and should be serviced every fall. California and some cities have passed laws restricting them, requiring gas fireplaces to have outdoor vents. Because if you don't have a carbon monoxide detector, you won't know you're being poisoned. Did you smell anything?
No, I had no idea what was going on.
Ventless fireplace manufacturers say their models are safe and, in fact, are much safer than wood-burning fireplaces that are blamed for hundreds of house fires every year. As always, don't waste your money. Working for you, I'm John Matteries. Good morning, Indiana.
John, thank you. Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Monday morning, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. Some breaking news to start with this morning. A man who was shot early in the morning on New Year's Eve has died from his injuries. This shooting happened on East 38th Street at North Butler Avenue. That's on the northeast side near Emerson Avenue. Police say that victim died Saturday at Eskenazi Hospital.
Police are also investigating a shooting on the west side that has left a man dead. The man's body was discovered last night in a home on Mount Shasta North Drive near North Raceway Road. Police tell us multiple people were inside the home when shots were fired. They aren't sure what led up to the shooting, but they say they are questioning a person of interest.
More local news today. IMPD and Fishers Police will say more about 3 people accused in a 7-day crime spree. On Friday, the Marion County prosecutor announced several charges against Richard Garrett, DeLance Hatcher, and Rashana Farrow. Farrow and Garrett are also charged in the death of Fishers K-9 officer Harley back in November. Police will update their case at 1 this afternoon.
Greencastle police are asking for your help to find a man who's been missing for more than 2 weeks. 45-year-old Darren Huff was last seen December 21st. A candlelight vigil was held for Huff last night, and a Facebook page has been set up to raise awareness. If you have any information on his whereabouts, you need to call the Putnam County Dispatch. That number is 765-653-3155.
A warning this morning for pet owners about several recent sightings of coyotes. Recently, packs of coyotes on the north side of Brownsburg have been acting aggressively around a feeding station put out by animal control officers. They believe there is some type of hunger issue for the coyotes. For your pet's safety, animal control says you should keep your pets inside and make sure you're supervising them when they do go outdoors.
Welcome to Good Morning Indiana. It is Monday, January the 6th. It is good to be back with the family. Hey!
Yeah, the whole team is here.
Todd Clausen will be back this afternoon. He's covering for Kevin Gregory, but Alyssa Donovan's family. I mean, you know, what the heck?
I'm here.
We love you.
Yes. And things a little calmer here maybe than in some households right now. They're getting into the back-to-school groove after the 2-week break. Yeah. The good news is parents don't have to worry about any precipitation outside at the bus stop.
Right. So the bad news is you definitely have to bundle up today. So as you're scrambling around the house, getting the kids ready to go, make sure you grab that heavier jacket, maybe some gloves and scarves and hats. It's chilly outside. We have temperatures starting in the 20s across the area as you head to the bus stop. We'll see clear skies this morning. We have this northwesterly wind that is causing those temperatures to feel a little bit more like they're in the teens as you head out the door. We also have clear skies right now, so that's helping usher in that cooler air from the north. We're going to continue to see clear skies for the first half of the day, and then by the afternoon we do have a disturbance that's just off to our west. What that's going to do is move across central Indiana, just bringing us a little bit more cloud coverage. We could see maybe a flurry or two overnight tonight, but for the most part it's going to be dry. As we head to the afternoon, temperatures will climb into the low 40s, so we're just a little bit above average. It won't feel as chilly later today because we are going to see those winds shift more westerly by later today. So don't worry about being too cold later this afternoon, but you're definitely going to have to bundle up this morning as you head out the door. We do have quite a bit of precipitation on the way in the 7-day forecast. I'll have those details in just a few minutes.
Alyssa, thank you so much. We're keeping a close eye on your commute. Many people heading back to work, back to school, so we're seeing busier roads out there this morning for your Monday commute. Here's a look right now from our live drive vehicle. Our photographer, Shay Goodpaster, in the driver's seat. This is a dash cam view of I-465 southbound heading towards 56th Street on the northeast side. Traffic here is moving along up to speed. Want to make you aware of one northeast side crash I'm monitoring at this hour. It's on a side street, 38th Street and Franklin Road. No injuries to report there. We'll continue to keep a close eye on those roads and keep you updated. Also new this morning, we got to tell you about this Indigo Red Line station damaged after an early morning crash. You can see on your screen, this was the scene around 3 o'clock this morning at 18th Street and Meridian Street. Officers say they aren't sure what led up to this crash. The man driving the now crushed car here was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Alcohol not believed to be a factor in the crash. We've reached out to Indigo to see if this damage will impact any pickups, maybe at this location. We're still waiting for a response.
The time now is 6:33, only on RTV6. Former General Motors workers say that they feel betrayed by their union. Temporary workers at the GM stamping plant in Marion were planning to become permanent employees in the new year. In fact, today, many expecting to clock in today with better pay and benefits. It was all a result of the big union strike that crippled the company last fall. Workers facing a promising 2020 say they were shocked when they were fired before Christmas.
We were assured that, this exact situation wouldn't happen. That there would be no layoff, that would keep us from being hired January 6th. So, why am I, terminated? Not laid off, but terminated.
I want them to know that we were deceived.
Hopefully, something will change and they will reconsider and bring us back in there. But if they don't, I will look for something else because I'm a survivor.
This morning, we are hearing from General Motors. They sent us a statement which says, in part, no GM employees have told temporary workers that they were guaranteed a job. In fact, the opposite is true in light of the well-publicized ending of the previous generation pickup truck products. GM's full statement is on our story at our website, thedetail.com. What you won't find there is a response from the United Auto Workers. We are still waiting for them to explain this situation. I'll keep working on this story. Meredith?
This morning, a truck driver is in custody and facing felony charges in connection to a deadly crash on I-65 Sunday.
2 adults and an infant were killed and more than a dozen others hurt in that crash that shut down the interstate up in Whitestown. Investigators say that Matthew Small was driving northbound on I-65 around 11 o'clock Saturday morning when he looked down to set his coffee mug down and ran into slowing traffic. Boone County officials say that he hit 8 vehicles, the semi then catching fire, pinning the vehicle against the guardrail, and that killed the 3 people inside. Those victims have been identified as 21-year-old Mariah Tomey, 1-year-old Hadley Tomey, and 19-year-old Kaylee Kirk. 14 other people were injured. They are all expected to survive. Small is now facing 3 counts of reckless homicide and is being held at the Boone County Jail.
This is the second time in the past 6 months that we've seen a crash in central Indiana involving a distracted semi-truck driver. On July 14th last year, an Indianapolis mother and her twin 18-month-old daughters died in a multi-vehicle crash on I-465 near Keystone Avenue. It all began when a truck driven by Bruce Pollard barreled into stopped traffic. Pollard told detectives he had reached for an iced tea and took his eyes off the road for just a moment before realizing traffic was stopped in front of him. Pollard is set to go to trial early next month.
Also new this morning, a body found in a pond in northwest Indiana has been identified as a Chicago man who's been missing for weeks. A 47-year-old Joseph Clopton was last seen December the 16th. His body was found near Fish Lake in LaPorte County Friday. An autopsy is scheduled for today to determine his cause of death.
It is 6:37. Indiana lawmakers are back to work today for the start of the 2020 legislative session. There are plenty of potential bills being put forward, even though it is a short session, and that's because there's no budget talks this year, and it is an election year. Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning with the details on the bills that could have a big impact on you and your family if they become law. Kelsey, good morning.
Good morning, Lauren. So a bill filed just last week could take away taxpayer money from schools if they're found to have discriminated against students, teachers, and staff. Now, State Senator J.D. Ford filed it in response to Roncalli High School, which fired guidance counselor Shelley Fitzgerald after it was discovered she was married to a woman. Ford filed a similar bill last year, but it didn't get a hearing. But this year, he has Indiana Public School Superintendent Jennifer McCormick behind him, also pushing for the legislation.
This is truly a passion of mine that we need to be inclusive of everyone in Indiana. You know, we need to consider our students who identify LGBTQ are 5 times more likely to attempt suicide. So at a day where we're watching the numbers come out.
Some other bills on the agenda include the legalization or decriminalization of marijuana and also cold beer sales in grocery stores. But one issue that likely won't be debated is teacher pay, even after hundreds of teachers rallied at the State House in November. Now, this is a relatively short legislative session as they're not having a budget this year, so they're expected to end in early March. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. A new Indiana rule in effect this year is requiring risk assessments to be done on booked inmates with hopes to release more from jail. Criminal justice officials say the new system requires all inmates to be released on bond unless they present a substantial danger to themselves or others. It also mandates that an evidence-based risk assessment be used to make that decision. The rule was adopted by the Indiana Supreme Court in 2017, but just went into effect January 1st. Officials say the change is expected to eventually reduce overcrowding in the county jails.
It's the end of the line for yet another East Side retailer. Up next, the latest setback to Washington Square Mall and whether there's any hope to fill a lot of open space at that location.
We've also been following along with the journey and fight of his life. Next, a pastor's continuing battle with leukemia and how it could make a difference in several lives. Time now is 6:39. We'll be right back.
Be confident to and through retirement.
Another major setback for Washington Square Mall as two major retailers are set to leave. Sunday, Dick's Sporting Goods has already closed permanently. And later this month, Burlington will close its doors. The closures come several months after an Ohio company took control of the site. Shoppers we spoke to say they're sad to see the once booming mall go downhill.
It's kind of unfortunate. This was a big mall when I was young, real busy, but it's gone downhill past years or so. But yeah, it sucks to see another store go down in the mall.
Despite the closures, the property manager says they plan to continue making improvements to the mall. Since August, the company says it has fixed doors, lights, replaced fixtures, painted, and added security.
At 6:43, an update on a local pastor who's battling leukemia and looking for a bone marrow match. Avery Bush Sr. is the pastor of Christian Faith Baptist Church. He was diagnosed with leukemia back in July, and since then, he's gone through several rounds of chemo, but doctors say the cancer will likely keep coming back without a bone marrow transplant. Right now, there's no match on the National Stem Cell Donor Registry for Pastor Bush, but since our story first aired about Pastor Bush, 214 people have answered the call, registering to become donors. If you want to sign up to help, go to join.bethematch.org/Pastor Bush, or you can text Pastor Bush. It's just one word to 61474.
It is 6:44. Major improvements are coming to the Lawrence branch of the Indianapolis Public Library. But before that happens, the library will be temporarily closed. So the closure began yesterday as the crews there began work on the $1.5 million renovation project. Upgrades include a new entrance, a new group study and tutoring area. There will also be improved access to technology, charging stations, and also new spaces for children, teens, and adults. Any materials placed on hold can be picked up at the Glendale branch. Construction is expected to be complete by the middle of this year.
It's 2020, and if you don't write down the entire number, you could end up in trouble. Next, why experts say you have to be careful.
And it's the biggest movie franchise of all time is still the king of the box office. Ahead, we look at which movies we went to see over the weekend and how Disney once again has two major moneymakers on the chart. But first, let's check in with our own superstar, Alyssa Donovan, with your forecast. Alyssa,
hey, thanks
good
for
morning.
That.
Hey.
Good morning. Temperatures today are going to be in the 40s. We're starting out this week very mild with some sunshine, but we do have some rain in the 7-day forecast. All of those details coming up.
The JanuaryIndieBoatShow.com.
It is 6:47. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana on this Monday morning. Here's a live look right now on the northeast side, I-465 in Pendleton Pike. Traffic here is moving along smoothly in both directions, but a heads up to northeast side drivers. We do have a crash right now at 38th Street and Franklin Road off the interstates, but it is causing slowdowns on 38th Street in both directions. Use caution as you're heading out.
Since the start of the new year, you might have seen a warning floating around social media. Some police departments are saying do not abbreviate the year when you sign legal documents. They claim it would be easy for scammers to alter the date if you just write 20. Experts say the scam could be used to try to collect debts that are past the statute of limitations, or someone could try to change the date to cash an old check. While there haven't been any reports of this actually happening yet, legal experts say it's always a good idea to just fully write out the dates.
The time now is 6:48. Frozen 2 is still hot. The animated film took in $11.3 million over the weekend. That gives the Frozen sequel a domestic total of $450 million so far. Now, despite bad reviews, the latest take on The Grudge debuted in 4th place this past weekend, also taking in $11.3 million. The new take on Little Women moved up a spot to 3rd place this weekend, earning $13.6 million. Jumanji, The Next Level, stayed in 2nd place at $26.5 million, gives it a total of $236 million so far. But, ladies, your favorite movie, The King of the Hill, is still Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, topped the chart for the 3rd straight weekend, grossing in $33.7 million for a domestic total of a mere $451 million. The Force is still with Star Wars.
What was that sound effect you were making?
The lightsabers.
Oh, I didn't know. I've never seen those movies.
You gotta see the movie.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe it was like a lawnmower or an electric toothbrush or something.
Listen, I would love to be working a lawnmower right about now, but my fear is we still have a lot of shoveling to do.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Not today, though. The good news, no precipitation falling for the first day back to school for a lot of kiddos around the area, Alyssa.
The only thing today brings is just chilly start. So we're starting with those temperatures in the 20s across the area. It feels a little colder than that because of the winds. We are staying dry through midweek, so that's the good news. It comes with a price, though, at the end of the week. We have rain coming our way with the potential of some flooding in the forecast, some warmer temperatures as well. We're starting with the 20s right here in Indianapolis. We're at 28 degrees. Those winds out of the west-northwest about 9 miles per hour. We've seen those between 5 to 15 miles per hour throughout the morning, which is why it feels a little colder than the 28 degrees. Feels a little bit more like 19 degrees because of that wind chill. So as you head out this morning with the kids to the bus stop, be sure to bundle them up because it is going to be a chilly start today with that northwesterly breeze. As we head through the day, we're starting with clear skies this morning. Temperatures will climb into the upper 30s by the noon hour, staying clear at that time. And then we do have a quick disturbance that will move through this afternoon and evening. All that's going to do, though, is really bring us some more cloud coverage overnight. The good news with that is that by tomorrow morning, it shouldn't be as chilly because we'll have those clouds to insulate us from that cool, dry air overnight. So tomorrow morning shouldn't be as cool to start. By Wednesday morning, though, we have cooler air moving in. We have high pressure in control, and then we have this cold air that will settle in Wednesday afternoon. What that's going to do is keep our temperatures just into the mid-30s. So we're into the mid-40s today. We'll be about 10 degrees cooler for our afternoon highs by Wednesday, and then we are going to see some changes coming after that, which is going to be 2 different low pressure systems. The first one comes in Thursday afternoon. That one's going to bring us the potential of some light rain showers and some gusty winds. The second one is the one we are very concerned about. That one's going to bring us the potential of some heavier rain showers Friday night and into Saturday. Now, all of the models have not projected out this forecast quite yet, but the ones that have are showing anywhere between 2 and 4 inches of rainfall, which could cause some flooding hazards. Of course, as that system gets closer, we'll keep an eye on that for you and let you know if we are concerned with that flooding potential. Today, starting with the temperatures in the 20s, feels more like the teens though, so bundle up, and then we will climb into the low 40s this afternoon, starting with clear skies, a little bit more cloud coverage later today. Looking at that 7-day forecast, 44 for your Tuesday, only in the mid-30s on Wednesday, staying dry that time, and then we are going to see that rain move in late Thursday, sticking with us Friday and Saturday as well.
Alyssa, thanks so much. As folks are heading back to work, back to school after the holidays, we want to give you a look at the roads right now. Everything's traveling smoothly on I-70. This is a look near the Sam Jones Expressway from our live drive vehicle, so good news there. Everything is moving along just fine. We'll continue to keep you updated. Right now, the only crash we're monitoring is on the northeast side at 38th Street and Franklin Road.
They are the 3 biggest Jeopardy money winners of all time. Coming up today on Good Morning America, they are live in Times Square as they get ready for a primetime showdown here on RTV6 for $1 million and bragging rights.
And check your pockets, maybe for some loose change or maybe a meal, because sometimes you see, you keep the receipt or some other souvenir from a meal you had a long time ago. But what if you were able to keep the meal itself? Next, a man who said he did that, and we're still trying to figure out why you do that. The story next, right here on Good Morning Indiana. Why?
Visit the Hiring Hoosiers job board.
Well, we aren't sure why you would want to do this, but a Utah man claims that he has a 20-year-old McDonald's hamburger.
You see, David Whipple says he bought the burger at a McDonald's on July the 7th, 1999. He even kept the receipt, which is a good idea. Always keep the receipt. He says he initially purchased the burger for a presentation he made about enzymes and food breakdown. But the burger ended up in a pocket of a coat that was forgotten for years.
No.
Yes. So Whipple decided to check on the burger this week. And guess what? Found it much the same.
There it is. My gosh. It hasn't changed. The pickle's the only thing that's disintegrated.
Whipple isn't the only person who claims to have a McDonald's burger that lasted at least 2 decades. In 2015, 2 Australian men displayed a burger they claim to have purchased from McDonald's in 1995.
Well, we had that Throwback Thursday story about people preparing for Y2K last year with the nasty-looking food. I mean, we should all be stocking up on McDonald's
Apparently,
burgers.
that's what you need.
Yeah.
Had I known, I would have worked on that story back in 1990.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that makes my stomach just turn. Though I'm very glad there's no such thing as smell-o-vision right now.
But in 2020, your forecast.
We're gonna have. I don't even know how to follow that. It's,
A Big Mac of a forecast?
It's a Big Mac of a forecast. That's good. We're starting chilly this morning. Bundle up the kids as you head to the bus stop. 40s for our highs today and tomorrow. Cooler Wednesday, and then rain comes in Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Lunch is on me, people. Lunch is on me.
McDonald's burgers off for all.
Yes.
All right, thanks for joining us. We'll be back in 25 minutes into our Good Morning America.